No, the meeting is on, the press conference is on right now. Yes. Okay, thanks, Bill.
Good afternoon. The man accused of driving his car into a state police cruiser, killing State Trooper Thomas Clardy in March, was secretly indicted today by a Worcester County grand jury. David Naguna, 30 years old, of 6 Wall Street, Webster, Massachusetts, was indicted for the manslaughter by motor vehicle homicide by negligence, motor vehicle homicide operating under the influence of drugs, negligent operation, and operating an uninsured vehicle. The secret indictments were handed up earlier today, and an arrest warrant was issued for Mr. Naguna, who was injured in the crash. The crash occurred at about noon on March 16, 2016. Trooper Thomas Clardy, who was assigned to the Charlton Barracks, was conducting a motor vehicle stop on the westbound side of the Massachusetts Turnpike at mile marker 80 in Charlton. He was sitting in the cruiser when Mr. Naguna's Nissan Maxima struck the cruiser from behind. Investigators now believe the Maxima was speeding at the time of the crash and that it struck the cruiser after swerving across 3 lanes of traffic into the breakdown lane. We are still within the investigation itself. There are some questions we cannot answer, but also with me today is Colonel Richard McKeon from the State Police, Colonel of the State Police, who also has a statement.
Thank you, DA. I'd like to thank District Attorney Early and his office for conducting a thorough, comprehensive, and fair grand jury investigation. I also recognize the Massachusetts State Troopers, including those from the Charlton Barracks, the MSP Crash Reconstruction and Crime Scene teams, and our Worcester County Detective Unit for their meticulous and unbiased work in this case. They investigated every possible factor that may or may not have contributed to Trooper Clardy's death. It's the job of prosecutors and police to set our emotions aside and to follow the evidence wherever it leads. That is exactly what has been done in this investigation. As a result, we have determined the appropriate charges warranted against David Naguna and will begin the equally meticulous process of proving those charges before a court of law. This is the result of facts and evidence, not emotion. Our thoughts today remain, as they have remained for the last 2+ months, with Trooper Clardy's widow, his 7 children, and the rest of his loved ones. Despite our efforts within our state police family to help them, efforts that will never end, we know the hole in their loving family by Tom's death can never be filled. Likewise, while we continue to heal as a police department, our healing will never be complete. Because in a perfect world, Tom should still be out there, set up on his stretch of highway, looking for dangerous drivers and keeping innocent motorists safe, as he did so well for so long, as he was doing the day he was killed. We continue to thank the public for their outpouring of condolences and support for the Clardy family. We know he will continue to look down to watch over his wife and children he cared for so well in life. And he will also watch over us as we pick up the torch he held so high and go about our mission, which was his mission, to protect and serve others. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Could you explain just go over again what report that within an hour of the accident, he bought 3 marijuana cigarettes that were for medical purposes? Is that?
Approximately within that time frame, yes, he had been to a medical marijuana dispensary and had picked up 3 or 4 medical marijuana cigarettes.
Do you know what condition he has or had?
Do not know, no. And, you know, as was said at the arraignment, there's a half-burnt marijuana cigarette on the bottom of the floor.
So are you saying by these charges that he intentionally tried to hit the trooper, he recklessly hit the trooper, he was what?
Manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide while operating under the influence of drugs. We are not saying it was intentional. Let me make that very clear. We are not saying. Everything we have in the investigation so far does not point to an intentional accident. I know that rumor's been out there, but let me dispel that right now. We do not have any evidence that this was intentional.
His attorney spoke about the cooperation his friends and family have given. Have you spoken to him personally? Have you talked to Mr. Naguna, and what has he said?
No, he has an attorney, Mr. Ettenberg, so, you know, any dealings we do with Mr. Naguna, we do through Mr. Ettenberg. The witnesses have been making themselves available. You know, we've had a lot of witnesses in the grand jury, and, but no, we do not talk to Mr. Naguna. He is represented by counsel.
Padilla, can you just explain again, he purchased these legally, the cigarettes, the marijuana?
Yes, he had a medical marijuana card. He purchased, it's our understanding, 4 medical marijuana cigarettes. And he did have those with him before he proceeded out on the turnpike.
And then he smoked one at some point before?
As was said at the arraignment, he did have a THC level within his blood. So that is the theory that we're operating on with regards to the motor vehicle and impaired operation, yes.
And is that legal? I mean, what's legal and what's not legal in terms of, I mean, this must be a concern of yours.
Well, yeah, you know, with regards to medical marijuana, people are told not to drive.
Is there, and this may be a stupid question, but educate me if you would, is there a level like there is for blood alcohol for THC?
The experts will get into that more at trial. I'm not going to get into that. But we do have evidence that there was THC within his blood, which he should not have been operating with the level.
But what I'm asking is there a legal limit like there is for
Like
alcohol?
there is for alcohol. I'll let the experts get into that. They do tell us, you know, at a certain level, there is your ability to operate impaired. Yes, at a certain level, yes.
Joe, do you believe he passed out, he fell asleep, he had a seizure? What do you believe?
Not going to speculate with regards to any of that. You know, we know that he traveled across 3 lanes and there was contact made in the breakdown lane. Trooper Clardy had initiated stop, was in the breakdown lane when he was struck from behind.
You don't know which one of those it is, though, at this point?
You know, really, we don't want, the investigation still is ongoing, as I mentioned. We just want to let the facts take us where they lead throughout the course of the investigation. Finish the investigation, we'll go from there. I don't want to prematurely speculate on anything that may have or could have happened. You've heard the best evidence that we have right now, and that was presented to the judge. There was THC in his blood, and he crossed over 3 lanes of travel, and he was operating at a high speed.
Joe, can you give us some perspective on how much THC was in his blood? I mean, what does that mean in the impairment?
No, I'm not going to get into that right now. Just that there was enough to charge him motor vehicle homicide while impaired, operating under the influence of drugs.
Was there a smell of burnt marijuana in the car or ever?
You know, I'm not going to get into that either. There were a lot of things going on at the scene. You had a very chaotic, very hectic scene. That's about it.
Colonel, is there anything else that your troopers are doing to keep them safe out there in the wake of this, now that you've heard some of this evidence? Anything changed, if you can step up in terms of what you're, just to keep your men and women safe out on the roads?
Yeah, I think everything that Trooper Clardy did that day, he was doing in a safe manner, and they continue to follow their safety guidelines. So to answer your question, we're not doing anything specifically different as far as officer safety goes, but they are obviously more vigilant or more tuned into the fact of what can happen out there on the highway, because it's dangerous out there.
And is there anything, any reaction that you have that someone had just purchased legally medical marijuana and was out on the roads? I mean, we talk about drunk driving, we talk about people under the influence, but this must be a little concerning to you with your people out there.
Yeah, but again, I'm going to defer to what the district attorney said. It is still under investigation. I'm going to leave it to a court of law and let it play out.
Just tell us how the family, Mrs. Clardy and the kids are doing.
And Mrs. Clardy, she's doing the best she can, as well as supporting the kids, and that's what her mission is right now. So she's doing the best she can.
We met with Mrs. Clardy today, made her aware of the charges that would be brought today. She's been in contact with us throughout the day.
What was the reaction, Joe, if anything? Can you share that?
No. You know, we just informed her. It was just informative.
Is there a particular reason, it was a secret indictment, that the grand jury met you giving on this? Are there reasons that you decide why that happens?
There are different strategies going to every case. This is what we decided to do in this case.
You know, the 80 miles an hour, that's what that information that was garnered from the reconstruction, or what, I mean,
Yeah. A lot of work's gone into this from the beginning. You know, you've got to thank the State Police Cars Unit, Investigation Unit, Forensic Services, the reconstruction. Everyone has pulled together and done a very good job. Can't thank the colonel enough for his leadership in this. Everyone's done a very good job with regards to this heartbreaking accident.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.